Very good afternoon. The Labour leader has called for an urgent and detailed nationwide housing inquiry in the wake of the Grenfell fire disaster. Jeremy Corbyn has described the fire, which left at least 80 people dead, as a wake-up call for the country. A leading campaigner for victims says she's been told at least one resident has still had rent for her destroyed flat taken by the council.
Catherine Fawkes, the local councillor, has said it is a tiny matter. This is the way that leadership of the council has treated residents at this end of the borough for years. I expected her response to be, I will send an officer down to the town hall right now to check out if that's happening across the board and get back to you. You know, they could be debiting dead people's accounts. We don't know. We don't have that information. They can find that information out quickly. And alongside tiny matters, Ed Daffram's blog was also seen as a tiny matter when he predicted that something catastrophic would happen at Grenfell Tower, and look where we are today.
Our reporter Katerina Vittozzi is in West London. And Katerina, we've known for quite some time that there was a substantial number of residents and locals who wanted the terms of reference of this inquiry to be as broad as possible. And when you hear stories of former residents being charged rent, you can understand why.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of anger and mistrust amongst the evacuees and survivors of Grenfell Tower. Yvette Williams, who you just heard there, was incredibly emotional. She is leading up this sort of Justice for Grenfell community group, and she spoke about the deep anger, the mistrust, how the community don't feel like they're getting the right sort of service that they should expect from the council at this tremendously difficult time for them. It's coming up to this 3-week deadline now, where the government and the council said initially after the fire that the 400 or so residents who were affected would be rehomed and rehoused in the local area if possible, but community groups saying that they just don't feel any particular confidence that that process is going to go ahead and will be in place by Wednesday. With regards to the inquiry, the community too want it to be broadened, echoing the sentiments made by the Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, who whilst out at a rally in Hastings addressed the Grenfell public inquiry. Here's what he had to say.
We want it quick and urgent in the case of Grenfell Tower, and we want a longer, much longer, more detailed inquiry into housing conditions and stock all over the country. Because it isn't just Grenfell Tower, there are issues over the whole of the country that have to be addressed, and we will make sure those issues are addressed. So surely, if ever there was a wake-up call for what happens in modern Britain, it's got to be that disaster of Grenfell Tower.
And one thing that's really clear from speaking to the community leaders and the survivors of the Grenfell Tower disaster is that they want to feel like they are part of this broader inquiry, that they are part of this process as people try and understand the reasons behind that tragedy as it does come up to this 3-week mark mid next week.
Katerina, thanks very much indeed.